Jayesh Ranjan sir, it's 2 o'clock. I'll be starting with your introduction, sir, and then you can take it forward. Okay. So, good afternoon, students. Thank you for joining International Conference on Emerging Technologies. The conference is mainly aimed at helping you to establish your career. There will be a number of topics over the next today and next 3 days with regards to emerging technologies and how you can set up your careers and gain employment into emerging technologies over the next 4 days. The dignitaries are really, really huge, and we are very glad to have them on this conclave for the next 4 days. And thank you for CSI to be with us as part of this program. And students across the country, starting from Jammu to Tamil Nadu and Kerala, are participating in this. We have got around 7,000 registrations till the time I have just checked, and hope you will all make a lot from this. So we'll start today with one of my favorite IAS officers, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. And to give a brief background, he has a wiki page. You will know a lot of things about his education and all from his wiki page. I want to tell you most important things that you will have to learn about sir, and how he is a role model to all of us. He is Principal Secretary for Industries and Commerce and Information Technology Department, and also he is in charge of Vice Chancellor of JNTU. Shri Jayesh Ranjan sir, thank you so much for kindly agreeing to chair this event. And if anyone has any IAS officers have fans, then that is Jayesh Ranjan sir. Most of you are young students who might not be listening to news regularly. So let me tell you a few words on why it is very important to listen to Jayesh sir. So sir's effort in putting Hyderabad in world technology map, it is unparalleled. You must be remembering the prestigious events where Ivanka Trump has come to Hyderabad and for Global Entrepreneurship Summit, Wings 2020 for aerospace sector, World Design Assembly. There are such great efforts from sir's departments always. And Telangana, being the youngest state in the country, still has highest growth rate compared to rest of the country's average. So I feel astonished whenever I visit sir, how much close attention to detail he gives to every request from every visitor every day. And now that he's Vice Chancellor of JNTU, you can see the speed of reforms and initiatives at the same level. We can already see that because Telangana 2020 is declared Year of Artificial Intelligence. For all of us, he's very important because collectively we can request him to give us a platform to fulfill our dreams of careers and startups. So welcome, and request you to please speak to students. Students are from across the country. So students, listen carefully to what sir has to say to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Anuradha Garu. Let me begin by congratulating the Blackbuck group for putting together such a well-organized and such a methodical and detailed conference. It is spread over 4 days, and every day you are building upon a very important block, which is very fundamental in our digital architecture. You are talking about AI today. You will be speaking about design thinking tomorrow. You will be speaking about applications and how to reach your entrepreneurship goals, etc. I would also like to congratulate the Computer Society of India for this collaboration. This is a great organization. We have been associated with them for so many years. They institute an annual award for best performance in the IT sphere every year, and we have been the recipient of these awards for many years. So happy that to see you also collaborating in this initiative. The key point which I wanted to share with all of you, dear students, is that particularly in the current times of this pandemic and how disruptions are happening in practically every part of our life, every part of the society, every part of the economy, it is very, very clear that when the world tries to become normal tomorrow, digitization and technology will play a very, very important role. In fact, in the COVID management itself, what we are seeing is that those countries or those states in our country itself who are able to manage this situation better are relying on technology. In fact, some of the most innovative solutions have come during this COVID days in our country and elsewhere also. All of you must be aware about the Arogya Setu, how important it has become for contact tracing, for quarantine monitoring, etc. And so many other innovations have happened. In fact, I remember when this pandemic was just beginning, all the state governments were falling short of ventilators. As many of you would know, ventilator is a very important medical device which is essential for managing COVID patients. I mean, essential in the sense that not everyone requires it, but when your situation becomes critical, only a ventilator can save you. So ventilators became very important in the scheme of things. And in Telangana also, we found that there is a shortage of ventilators. I was asked to look around who are the suppliers, how can we get them from other countries. And we placed some orders. And I remember we placed orders at some 5 lakhs a ventilator, 6 lakh rupees for every ventilator, and so on and so forth. But then in Hyderabad, we have a government promoted institution which is called T-Works. It is a prototyping lab. And it has all the tools and machines, etc., which are required for hardware prototyping. And I remember in a matter of 10 days, the team which was working on this ventilator was able to come up with a ventilator which has all the functionalities of a regular ventilator. And the price, the cost of this ventilator is only 50,000 rupees. So imagine buying hundreds of ventilators at 6 lakh rupees from abroad and then manufacturing your own ventilator for just 50,000 rupees. So definitely lots of technology applications have happened in good COVID management. And this is a very clear indication that the world tomorrow also will be driven by technology because of the huge economic disruption and impact on different spheres. Every sphere, every sector of the economy will rely on technology to support its revival and restructuring, etc. So in the coming days, having good knowledge and good skills in technology will become very, very important, not just for people who are aspiring to get into a good job. Of course, a good job definitely will require you to have mastery over the latest skills, the latest technologies, but even if you have to become an entrepreneur or a product developer. So there is a bunch of technologies whom all of us call as collectively as emerging technologies. And the 4 days conference also focuses on these emerging technologies. So these emerging technologies are the ones where artificial intelligence is, of course, at the forefront of this emerging technology, but we also have machine learning, we have big data analytics, we have IoT, we have robotics, we have drones, we have cyber security. I mean, all these collectively, we have photonics, we have digital entertainment technologies, and so on and so forth. So a bunch of these, about 10 of them, are collectively called emerging technologies. And I'm sure even during this COVID period, some of you might have read about it or learned about it. AI is being used in a very significant way. So for example, including in Hyderabad, some of you will know that there is an institution in Hyderabad called the IIIT. So Intel and IIIT are jointly doing this research of finding an AI-based solution for predicting COVID by looking at the chest X-rays. If I give my chest X-ray, this AI tool can tell whether I really have COVID or not. And the development is happening over a huge number of samples. And they have been able to develop, the last I was informed, a tool which has more than 90% accuracy. But they don't want to release it in the market with something which is only 90% accurate. So they are still working on it. So that is one good application. In Telangana, we have used another tool which has been developed for us by this company called Fractal Analytics. It is an AI and ML based tool which predicts where the next hotspot is going to come, the hotspot of this pandemic. And some of you may know this, that Telangana was one of the first few states which opened up our IT offices, our industrial estates without any restrictions. And the reason why we were so confident of this opening up was because this tool that we have at our command, this tool had told us that no new case will come in the state from our industrial estates or our IT parks, etc., etc. And on 30th April itself, we opened up the industries, the IT offices, etc. And more than, almost, incidentally, it is 2 months today. 2 months have passed by, and not even a single case has come from these areas. So obviously, it shows that the reliability of the tool is very high. So subsequently, also in the post-COVID normal, also AI tools definitely will be much in demand. Different sectors of the society and economy will be using it. But as students, there are 3 important things to learn. So one is that we must have the basic knowledge of AI, regardless of what course are we studying. So when I was being introduced, it was mentioned that I'm also the officiating Vice Chancellor of the Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University. It is a state university, one of the premier technology universities in the country, sponsored by a state government. So as a Vice Chancellor, I'm about to complete 1 year, though it is an officiating course. But one of the first few decisions which I took was that every student, regardless of which branch of engineering are you studying, you must go through a module, a compulsory module on artificial intelligence. So you may be studying mechanical engineering, you may be studying instrumentation engineering, you may be studying hydrology, whatever you study, you must know artificial intelligence. So, there is some logic behind. So this is a very big decision to say that every student must do one additional course, and it is a compulsory course, it is a credit course. It is not a small decision, but we took that decision because we know that the world is going to be driven by AI, and COVID reality points very much in that direction only. So the first point which I wanted to mention was that you must have a basic knowledge of, basic understanding of AI tools, etc. The second point which I wanted to share was that this is a skill. See, as you know, coding is being taught even at school levels now. School children using a Raspberry Pi or some simple instruments are being taught how to develop, how to do coding. And as all of us know, coding is nothing but looking at the logic behind everything and converting that logic into a program language. That is as simple as that. If you are able to figure out the logic, and then you can very easily write the code. So AI also is a skill. And today in the IT world, skilled people will be highly in demand, and skills will only come when you are able to practice. So do improve your skills. See, when you look around ourselves, there are hundreds of things which will strike us where an application of AI can improve the activity. How the activity is performing can be improved by introducing certain kind of AI algorithms. So be on the lookout and see if you can create those algorithms, if you can write those algorithms. This may be a very simple, some very trivial thing, but the idea is that the more you practice, formal opportunities of practicing are also there. Lots of hackathons are conducted, lots of events are conducted, lots of technical seminars, etc. are conducted. So do participate in all these kind of events so that you get more practice to develop your skill. And as I mentioned in the beginning, skilled people are going to be in high premium in the IT sector. Some of you may have read about it, you may be aware about it, that even in the COVID times, IT sector also has seen some amount of layoffs. Some number of employees have been terminated, some of them have been removed from their jobs. It has happened in small companies, mid-scale companies. A few large companies have also resorted to layoffs, etc. And if you try to understand who are the people who are getting laid off, they are not the best candidates, they are not the brightest candidates. They are the ones who have not been able to develop their skills further. So they are dispensable. So don't wait for that situation that you are about to be terminated and then you say that, okay, I will learn some skill, I will become relevant. Best is to invest in learning a skill now itself. And that skill learning can only happen if you practice more and more and more. The final point which I want to share with all of you is that, as I said, every technology company, non-technology company, everyone is going to rely on artificial intelligence more and more and more. And therefore, large number of job opportunities are always available to people who have this background, who have this skill. But what I would like to suggest to all of you is that also consider the opportunity. Instead of joining in a job, can you create jobs? Can you become an entrepreneur? Can you start your own company? Can you give jobs to 10 other people? And what will you do in your company? So the message which I want to pass on to all of you is, can you build AI products? Can you build AI solutions? Can you build AI tools? Lots of demand will be there. As I said, in every sector of the society, applications are available. But can we be the ones who develop these tools? All of you would be aware that day before yesterday, India has banned 58 apps from China, which we use. Some of them are very commonly used, and there is a hue and cry, and there is also there's a realization that we are relying on more and more Chinese products or American products or European products, because no one is developing similar kind of products in our country, which is a matter of sadness. It is not that we don't have the skills or the sharpness or the ability, but somehow no one inspires us or no one guides us that product can also be important. So do look at this opportunity. And Anuradha mentioned that students from across the country are participating in this session. But if you are located in Telangana, or if you are willing at a later stage to relocate to Telangana, we'll be very happy to support you formally. Our government has a policy which encourages product development within the state. So if any startup comes up saying that I want to do a product development in the state provides lots of benefits, lots of support, lots of incentives. And we also assure you that the government will become your first customer if the product or the solution has any relevance for the government. So I would like all of you to benefit from these kind of seminars. Also be very agile about the emerging realities. COVID, as I said, is completely disrupting practically everything. So while it causes lots of distress to all of us, but also remain very alert about what new possibilities it is opening. And right at the student stage itself, if you start moving or working towards achieving those opportunities or achieving those objectives, that is where you will really succeed. So my compliments once again to CSI and to Blackbuck for organizing this event. There are lots of distinguished experts and domain experts and speakers who are going to address you. So good luck and best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And the 3 points that you have given us, I have noted. We will reiterate in every interaction with the students that we have. And thank you so much once again, sir. Mr. BVR Mohan Reddy, sir, also has joined. Sir, welcome to the session. Before I pass it on to you, I would like to introduce that CSI dignitaries are currently on this call, and I would first request Mr. Vyas to say a few words to the students. Mr. Vyas. Okay. So, Mr. R.K. Vyas.
Mic is mute.
Yeah, it's okay.
So is there? Okay, so Mr. R.K. Vyas has around 36 years of experience in IT field, and he's worked in University of Delhi as senior faculty member, and he has served in National Informatics Center, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India for more than 4 years. He is currently the president of Computer Society of India, which is having around 70 chapters and more than 800 student branches in IT and engineering institutes in India, and it has headquarters in Mumbai. So welcome to the session, and thank you for partnering with us on this initiative related to emerging technologies. I would like to request you to say a few words to the students.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here amongst you all in the International Conclave on Emerging Technology being conducted by Blackbuck in association with Computer Society of India. Before I begin, I must say Dr. Durgesh has taken a lot of efforts to conduct this activity, and I congratulate him for giving us an opportunity to talk to the students all over the country on this emerging technology in coming 4 days. I have heard just now Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. I'm really pleased to hear him. He is the Principal Secretary to IT Information Technology, Government of Telangana, and Honorable Vice Chancellor, Officiating Vice Chancellor, JNTU. My dear brother, elder brother, Professor A.K. Naik ji, Dr. Durgesh ji, and our keynote speaker, Shri B.V.R. Mohan ji. So this international conclave of emerging technology, which will be conducted for another 4 years, 4 days, in association with this. As we have been told that it will be conducted, taking care of most of the latest emerging topics like artificial intelligence, IoT, machine learning, blockchain, data analytics, and many more things. And therefore, it is really being think that everything has been very properly distributed in 4 days, in 4 afternoon sessions. Today is the design theory and strategy for self. Tomorrow we have innovation journey from idea to product, and then. Right, tomorrow is this. Today we have got artificial intelligence in industry, and on the last day we have got a panel discussions, preparation of a post-COVID world. These 4 topics are really very well taken at this instance, when we all are really going through a very problematic situation in the country, and not only in the country but worldwide, where we have been stuck around at our homes or the offices, where we can just move around in a very limited manner. But as you know, many of the industry giants has been conducting a lot of activities. Similarly, Computer Society of India is also conducting a lot of webinars and faculty development programs on latest technology, on all these points which we have just now talked about, AI, IoT, etc. We have been conducting this webinars, and not only webinars but faculty development programs for around 7 days, where all our faculty members can join. And I see most of our faculty members, professionals and other people, they are really taking this opportunity to enlighten them of various technologies in the latest. As Mr. Jayesh has told, this arena where we are faced with a lot of difficulties of all kinds, and lot of medical problems are there, but still when we are connected, we are really thinking of skilling ourselves in various technology, and so that it can be used in future. And I see most of us have seen that India, when we talk about Make in India, and in real sense, in last 3 months, I have seen that Make in India progress is really very emerging. As just now given an example by Mr. Jayesh, like ventilators are there, then we have got the PPE kits, then we have got sanitizers and many more things, which we used to think that at the time of the day 1, when our PM has announced the lockdown, we think these things are not available with us. How we will fight for all these things? Still now we are exporting these things. That is the basic thing, that how our intellectuals, how our persons in various fields, not only in IT, in other fields also, they come together at the time of distress and make more and more activities and more things. So to support not only the social cause, but also the emerging trends and the skill development of more and more areas which we face. In case of computer science and IT, I know we have a lot of things to be learned, but still, when we talk about these things, we have been touching and we have been making the learning many things. And in last 3 months, I have myself had learned a lot by these webinars and faculty development programs, and heard about this. We have talked about the quantum computing recently in one of the Assam University, Central University. So one of the best thing is that through these webinars and through these sessions, we are connected not only to our home state or home district, we are connected to all over the country. Just now, as Anuradha has told, that more than 7,000 students are connected to us. And it is really amazing to know that at this hour of distress, many more students, youngsters, professionals are connecting to each other and getting ideas of various kinds, so that we can have more and more development in the country. And we will be coming out of all these problems. And once we come out of all these problems, obviously what we have learned, then we will have an applications of all those things which has been coming up. Some of the applications has already started developing at various stages, and some of them will be really taken away. And one more thing, we have seen that against China. Yesterday, some of the apps were banned. Now, there is another opportunity for our youngsters and the IT professionals that based on those apps, they have already used those apps. They know how to utilize it and what are the features in those apps. Now, we will have a battery of professionals or young students or young faculty members all over the country. They'll try to develop these kind of things. So everything, whatever I feel at this stage, when we say that something is not being given to us and we are deprived of something, all those things, we should not say that because of this, I'm not able to do this, because of this, I'm not able to do this. No, all these times, this distress times gives us opportunity to create many more things. And I must say that our youngsters, whom our government and PM relies, are really giving us a befitting platforms that, and they are really being trustworthy at this moment that they can do many more things for us. With these words, I will say this international conclave, which is being attended by more than 7,000, I welcome all those 7,000 students to really take part of the and based on the outcome of this seminar, they should develop various kind of things at their own organizations, or as Mr. Jayesh says, he has already offered you a platform at Telangana that you can come to the Telangana and Computer Society of India has got very deep penetration in the state of Telangana, or formerly Andhra Pradesh. We have conducted our 50th Golden Jubilee celebration in 2014 at JNTU University only. So these things, and Computer Society of India, we have got around 800 student branches for technologies, 70 chapters, which can really take care of many more things and depositing the knowledge at every front. And many professionals from various organizations are being connected to that, and we have got battery of senior professionals and IAS and many more people from NIC and many organizations and the state governments who are really supporting Computer Society of India to do various kind of activities in collaboration with organizations like Blackbuck and others. So with these words, I wish you all best for the next 4 days, and I hope many more good deliberations will be. And I'll request the organizers that all these deliberations should be taken care, and please send it to us so that we can put it on our CSI portal or on our CSI YouTube channel, and where it can be really benefited by. It will benefit not only CSI members, but all IT professionals and other professionals who are being benefited by this. Thank you very much. With these words, I am once again honored to be associated with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vyas sir. Thank you for attending the session and giving your a valuable message to all the students who are attending today. I'm sure with collaboration with CSI, we will be able to do lots of work related to emerging technologies in the colleges, in the chapters that you are existing already. Thank you so much for giving the message. Because BVR Mohan Reddy sir is already there, I would request Mr. Mohan Reddy sir to deliver his speech to the students. But before that, I'll give a brief introduction to sir, to Padma Shri BVR Mohan Reddy Garu. He is Executive Director and Founder of Cyient. And when you go through his wiki, you will be able to see number of his achievements. He is Padma Shri. He's been awarded Entrepreneur of the Year by very many prestigious firms. He's been awarded honorary doctorates. He's been chairman of NASCOM and HICIA. He's also chairperson of governing board of IIT Hyderabad. So there are a number of accomplishments that you can see if you see a brief background about him. But what we have to know is he has grown an organization from fewer employees in 25 years to a $630 million revenues organization. And he's established offices in India, US, Europe, Australia, and Singapore. 25 years back, he foresaw a total digital world. He started with digitizing hard copies. He saw everything is going to be digital. And that time his vision was to move everything to digital. Now he sees that the digital world will be moving into an intelligent world. So I welcome sir. So while there are so many IT firms, I still remember I was with Wipro, and for any GIS solution we used to run to Cyient. Okay, and of CSR, any part of Hyderabad I go, I see a government school where Cyient has adopted. So many things to learn from sir. Sir, welcome. Please enlighten us, and we are ready to get motivated from your accomplishments and from what you have to say to the students for their growth.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of you. At the outset, let me thank Blackbuck for inviting me for their student seminar. Very honestly, this part of the day is time for me to have a siesta. That's where I am in my life. Post lunch, it's time for me to take a break. That's how I can last till about 9:30 in the evening. But my affection towards all you young students is so high. I said, okay, I'll forego my siesta for today to come and talk to you. So therefore, I hope I'll do a little bit of justice for my sleep to make sure that you get motivated at the end of the day. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen now.
Okay. So what I'm going to talk about is how we see. No, sorry, I think I got the wrong one up. Give me 1 minute. No, I think I got the right one. Yeah. Transforming engineering education, emerging scenarios is what I titled my talk as. So I'll do it in about 4 parts right now. And I'll make sure that it's 2:31, I believe. And I will make sure I'll probably get it done by about 3 or 5, 3:10 at the max. So that, I'll also leave some time for questions. I have a hard stop at 3:25. I need to get into one other conference at 3:30. So the parts that I'm planning to do is first give you a reality check on where we are in the current scenario in the world. Then I will say what has transformed in the last 5 weeks. Thereafter, I want to talk about how there are new technologies which are emerging and what opportunities they present to all of you. So that's the 3 parts I have. So don't get overtly concerned about the current situation, but I want to present it to you because this is the reality. I keep saying this, unless all of us realize what the reality is, we probably would be much more disappointed than what we would do otherwise. Number of people in the world right now compare today's crisis that we have because of the COVID-19 crisis with a number of crises this world has gone through. And they keep saying, no, we went through a number of crises, we got over them, so we will do the same with this one too. But people have to realize that it is not the same as what it is today. The other crises were not the same as what it is today. You look at the recent past that happened was the 2008, it's called global financial crisis. That is when what happened was there was subprime crisis in terms of interest rates, and the American stock exchange on a single day lost somewhere between 30% to 35% of the market cap. Financially, it was a big disaster. Just to give you a data point, between European banks and the American banks, they lost $1 trillion of hard cash because of the crisis that they had. They overexposed themselves, too much of risk. It's a financial loss. Thereafter, I think it took about another $5 trillion of money to be pumped into the economies around the world to make sure that the economy came back. The second one that comes to people's mind is all about the 9/11 or what happened in 2001. Certainly, yes, life was lost. There was as many as about 4,000 people who got killed on a single day, 3,000 people who got killed in a single particular day. And what really it impacted was the airline industry. Actually, for about a week, none of the aircraft were flying in the United States. The rest of the world, they were all flying. It was a fairly major impact. Economies did take a shock, but it recovered back. The one which not many people know, and there's a lot of it written about, and I have an opportunity to talk to 2 people who had some experience around that, is the 1918, 1920, the Spanish flu epidemic. Loss of life was very high. people at that point of time did not have the same ability to count as what we are doing today. We probably counted the last person that's impacted or probably has disappeared. But they say that somewhere between 17 crores to 20 crores of people disappeared from this world because of the Spanish flu. Whereas it also impacted the economies quite considerably. And it was actually very frightening to hear some of the stories. I have a friend of mine who's the CFO of an American company whose grandmother is 97 years. And yesterday on a call, he was sharing with me all the ghastly stories his grandmother tells him. She was born around that time. So as she grew, I believe her parents and her grandparents used to say. But trust me, today's crisis is no comparison because it is affecting two things which did not happen in the past. It is affecting lives as well as the livelihood. Look at what's happening to the industry at this point of time. Every industry has slowed down, whether it's automobile, whether it's steel, or you look at petroleum products. I mean, I just wanted to get a flavor for what it is. The electricity demand has also gone down. So what has done well at this point of time is increase in smartphone usage, or understandably with the lockdown that we have, there is more amount of TV viewership. What is further very concerning is the fact that, how much amount of unemployment that we have. In India, we talk about the migrant labor crisis, etc. We also don't have very good methodologies by which we can still track the real unemployment. Truly, I think countries like America do that quite a bit. And just give you a flavor where it is, even in the 2007 global financial crisis, the unemployment was no more than 6%. Whereas what it is today, right now, is somewhere in the range of about 12.5% to 13%. It has recovered a little bit as unlocking is happening in US. So the sum total of the story I'm saying is, it is definitely a concerning situation that we are all in. Here is what we believe the economists tell us will the recovery will be. If you look at the economy recoveries, then they take what is called a V shape. That is, there is first a drop, and thereafter it will recover back. Or the economy is recovered in such crisis into yet another thing called the U. They go down, drop, then they stay back for a while, then they come up to where they were. Or they can be an L, which means that it drops down and continues at a lower level for long times to come. Our belief is that it will be more of an extended U. It has dropped down dramatically. It's bottoming out at this point of time. So therefore, it'll take a while before it comes back, or probably they call it as a tick mark, because it'll come here, stay back for a while, and then come up back into where it is. So the situation today on the ground is extremely concerning. High levels of unemployment, economy not doing well. So there should be, reality is, yes, it is concerning. But we saw something very interesting happening also in the last, say, 10 to 12 weeks. That's since when many parts of the world have started lockdown. What did we see is that we all talked about so far that lives and livelihood has been impacted. But what we are also seeing is it's not just lives, livelihood, work got impacted, life got impacted, and finally learning also got impacted. So let's look at each one of the segments that we're all curious about. What are the consumers doing at this point of time? They're all gone into online shopping. They also have drive-through food banks. There's no more amount of shopping to the grocery store. You can have no more of restaurants. It takeaway delivery, you're ordering online, and then you can go and collect it, or somebody comes and delivers it back at your home. Or for that matter, if you look at the meeting that we are doing today, no more of this physical meeting. There are 7,000 students, I believe, on this call today. They're all there because of technology. But it's all online that we are doing at this juncture. Or the new syndrome that's also common, with people like me, it's not very popular, all right, is work from home. Because they're also, everybody thinks work from home is very easy. Not true. We'll talk about it as we move forward. But work from home has also become yet another phenomena. And so also is e-learning and homeschooling. So all of them, the common thread, if you see, of course, when you get to entertainment is right now, the virtual happy hours, or more interestingly, you do all the viewing right now using Netflix. There's no more about movie theaters. So the consumer behavior has changed more towards digital usage. Let's look at how businesses are doing right now. They also are embracing on this new normal called digital. Whether it is to do with medical devices, it's digital currently. It's no more, because if you know the COVID-19 pandemic, people are not very keen of meeting even the doctor. Telemedicine has become very, very critical at this point of time, or very popular at this point of time. So is the case with, say, public safety. You don't require to have all the cops going around with video cameras. You can always fly drones around. So also in case of agriculture, you don't need to go and spray the pesticide to kill the pest, but you could always use a robo to go and do the pesticide for you. So all along, if you look at any of the areas that is there in business, business is transformed to a new norm, which is the digital norm. Let's look at the government, the third stakeholder who is also important to us in life. And government has also gone digital. If you look at the Arogya Setu applications, I'm sure all of you are using it right now. The government monitors the status of COVID in the neighborhoods of people, or the unified payment interface, or for that matter, the government services. In the normal process, when the electricity bill or the water bill came home, there's one of the office assistants who takes them. Somebody has to mute themselves. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if you mute yourself, that'll be fine. Thank you. If you're speaking, then you can always unmute yourself. So therefore, if you look at the online government services, what is happening was that if the bill came by, then the protocol in the at home used to be one of the office assistants would come, collect the bills, take either the checks or cash, go all the way to the water office or electricity board and come back. I tried it myself in the recent past. It didn't take me more than 5 minutes to complete both of them, the water bill as well as the electric bill. And it was an absolutely ziff of things. So even the governmental services have now become absolutely digital. So what's the new norm at this point of time is all about the world becoming digital. I don't know whether people have read about this, that 5 years back, e-commerce was at 2.5%. This is a global statistics, a very broadband statistic I'm giving you. E-commerce usage was 2.5%. That was 5 years back. Just before COVID started, the number went to 25% usage. Before COVID it was, which means that it took 5 years for about 25% of usage to come by. Currently, the usage of e-commerce is in excess of 55%. So what this world could not achieve in 5 years, COVID made it happen in about 12 weeks. So that is the power of the digital technologies that is flying around. So it is also, you will see one other thing from all the examples I gave. Sorry, it's also a fairly large technology play that's there. So what's the belief that several experts think at this point of time is that the 1930 depression, they came out of the 1930 depression primarily because of the industrialization. That's when actually Ford Motor Company produced the assembly line called the T assembly. It was called a T line. That's what the name was. That was Henry Ford's car. And so also you saw a lot of industrialization with manufacturing, food processing, oil also got produced, and there was tremendous amount of electronic usage, notwithstanding one of the key drivers for all the industrialization was electricity. What we believe is that the recovery this time from the novel coronavirus will be led by new technologies. And we have seen that. Current meeting is online. It's Zoom. It can be WebEx. It can be Microsoft Teams. It can be Blue Jeans. It can be many other things. I have, I believe, 11 different platforms on my system right now. So, and is it any inferior to what we were doing? No, there are a few challenges, but I think we can always address them. So therefore, today, online meeting is making us equally productive. Or online learning, we'll come to that a little more in detail. or online healthcare. Actually, healthcare, we believe, will graduate to a different level at the end of this digital revolution, is that it's right now online healthcare, online consulting for healthcare, but it will become even online surgeries. That is possible because of technology breakthroughs, primarily led by 5G. And then we also see more amount of Netflix, online shopping. So therefore, our belief is that new technologies will make sure that we come out of the current crisis. My third part, what I want to talk to you about is, what do we see as skills in demand in the past? What do we see, what we are seeing in future? This was a slide which was done by World Economic Forum. And you will see that in the past, there was less amount of, today was 2020, slightly dated, pardon me for using this slide, but they're all relevant at this point of time. So therefore, I didn't want to even tinker around with it. What is in demand at this point of time? Analytical thinking, innovation. We think it'll definitely go further up. What is declining is manual dexterity, endurance, repetitive jobs. What is, again, further what we see is people are actively involved in complex problem solving, critical thinking analysis, and several more. What we will see as completely disappearing is monitoring and control using technology. Coordination and time management, that has become very automated. They'll decline in terms of management of personnel. Today, if you look at it, with the work from home syndrome that is there, you don't manage people any longer. They're physically not with you. They're all at home. So who is managing them is technology. Because what we are saying right now, is somebody's hand going up? No. What we are saying right now is that, physically we don't have control on them. So therefore, they can't say, I just worked for 8 hours a day and my job is done. What we are trying to tell them is that we need output. And how do we do output is we have to measure it. So therefore, technology which is there today, we have active technologies which go on called Workday at this point of time, continuously monitors people exactly what they did and what they produced at the end of the day. So therefore, what we see is management of personnel will come down, technology installation and maintenance. Actually, there used to be a group of people who used to be installing software. That's a thing of the past. Today, right now, you do download an app, which could be much larger than what the installation of applications were, and it has to just run. There's nothing called manual that is required. They're all plug-and-play devices. Certainly, what we are seeing is more amount of increase that is happening. The trending as 2022 in the next 2 years is critical thinking, complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, the ability to understand others, step into their shoes and think about what they're thinking about, how to solve, what's the problem they're facing, for you to then solve it for them. So the sum total of this is there is a tremendous amount of shift into higher order skills compared to what they were in the past. And so therefore, I've divided these requirements in terms of what skills are required in about 3 different parts. The first one I'll call them as technology skills. Technology is accelerating at a pace never experienced by mankind so far. It is not only accelerating, but it's also amplifying. We think that there are 4 reasons why it is doing. Number one is that computers or computing power continues to become higher or faster. They become cheaper and they also become smaller. That's what Gordon Moore told us in 1976. People thought Gordon Moore was a crazy guy. He did not know what he was talking about. 15 years later, because Gordon Moore said that the amount of wafer that can be packed on a chip will double itself in every 18 months, which means the processing power will go up by twice. He said the cost will come down by half and the size will also become half. Approximately, that's what he said. When they reviewed it 15 years later, they found it Gordon Moore was wrong, because it was not taking 18 months, it was taking only 15 months to happen. So what is happening today is further accelerating. The pace at which the technology is accelerating is unheard of by mankind. So the end result is that you get a number of devices that are coming in, which require enormous amount of computing. I'm sure some of you people who probably are in computer science would have heard about a gentleman's name called Dr. Raj Reddy. Raj is the Turing Prize winner from India. Turing Prize is equivalent to a Nobel Prize. Raj and I used to be business colleagues about 20 years back. Well, now, this is 29 years since I started the company, 40 years back. You could also imagine how old I am thereafter. And Raj used to tell me all about connected cars. He used to tell me about driverless cars those days. He's one of those futuristic computer scientists. But then I used to ask him, why not now? And the answer used to be, Mohan, we will require a 15-ton truck to go behind a car with all the computing equipment to process the requirements. But that's not true any longer. You can have a small little car which can be automated driven, which means obviously it's the computing power is on the edge or it's on the cloud. So what we are seeing is the enormous amount of shift in computing power associated with that. I would call it a storage. The second one, which is another phenomena, is the connectivity part. I belong to a generation, I'm sure at least a few of them could be in this particular audience too, is when we waited for anywhere between 7 to 10 years to get a telephone line in this country. It used to be a fixed line. After I paid my money, I used to wait for 7 to 10 years to get a telephone line. And I'm sure if I had a physical contact with the audience today, if I asked you, gentlemen or ladies, this question, how many phones do you have with each one of you? I'm sure at least several hundred out of the thousands there will go up saying that I have 2 of them. If I ask a question, does anybody have no phone with them? The answer, nobody will lift their hands. So therefore, I think the connectivity has come in because of the availability of phone lines. And that availability of phone lines at this point of time, we believe, is that out of the 7.3 or 7.4 billion people around the world, about 4 billion of them are there on the networks. And the way in which Metcalfe wrote the paradigm on power of networks, the power of networks is square of number of nodes that are there. So what's happening is the power of the network is dramatically increasing at this point of time. But more interestingly, it is not any longer only people are connected on the network. Things are also connected on the network. Currently, we believe in 2020, there are 20 billion people plus things. That's about 4 billion people, 16 billion things that are also connected at this point of time to make sure that the power of network has become unbelievably huge. So connectivity is the second one. And a third one is this ubiquitous, ugly looking devices called sensors. And what were they doing? God gave us 5 senses. And we said, look, this is God's gift to us. What are these computers doing? They actually can imitate all these 5 senses as good as the human being. They can have the touch, they can have the vision, they can have the sound, they can smell, they can taste. There are not many applications we are finding for smelling and taste. I'll come to that later. But these 3 areas, amazing type of applications that are there. And these devices, which are IoT or Internet of Things, what they do further is that they put oceans of data because of the connectivity that we have on these large server farms that we created. So on the data, you put the 4th phenomena, which is all to do with algorithms. You put those algorithms to make meaningful decisions thereafter. This technology at one point of time was called information technology. Why was it called information technology? It provided information to you. I don't call it information technology anymore. It's pure technology because it now has the ability to provide you with real-time decision-making capability. Actually, you can program it that you don't take decisions, it takes decisions on its own. The number of applications of that nature, which actually then leads into what is called AI. AI, machine learning is what those technologies are centered around. So technologies that are coming in future are the ones I just called out, a few of them, AI, ML, and so on and so forth. Equally important is the fact that we are seeing a sizable amount of automation that's happening. Robotics are coming into play, and then you have automated cars and 3D printing. If you look at the parts that were provided in the past, you took a billet of steel, and thereafter you wanted to produce a part, you started subtracting material. And subtracting was a very difficult process. Whereas now what you do is additive manufacturing. You take material and deposit wherever it is required. So there is an enormous amount of progress that's happening in automation, because again, it has to go back. If you look at 3D printing as well as automated cars, we also find that there's an enormous amount of usage of IoT, connectivity, and also computing. Other different technology where we're seeing there's a fundamental change in substances. One of the key challenges we find right now in 3D printing is all to do with material bonding. So there is enormous amount of research progressing on substances, material bonding, so that currently, for example, the parts that we are making are used in aerospace, but these are all stationary parts. Still not movable parts are not being made. Whereas we think it's not too far away. When we improve the bonding characteristics of materials, you'll find that material also will be used, parts will be used, which are moving parts in aerospace industry. We also see a big shift in energy. Battery storage has increased. We have Elon Musk talking about walls of batteries. You don't see the batteries. I'll give you another example as we move forward. But you see that, in the home, the walls itself are charged. So also is the case of the oil and gas extraction. America, over a period of last 10 years to 12 years, have become surplus. What was the reason? Shale gas technologies. They had breakthroughs in shale gas, and as a result of that, today they don't import anymore. They're self-sufficient. And finally, there's enormous amount of change to renewable energies. So if I call out some of the technologies which are underlying some of the applications that I talked about, I think we talked about artificial intelligence. There is a fairly large amount of machine learning. And for applications in, say, training, virtual reality, augmented reality, and we're finding very exciting areas in terms of robotics usage. In the past, as I said a little while earlier, that online surgeries were not possible. The reason for that was that there was a fairly large amount of lag time, 2 milliseconds or more lag time on the network. So which effectively meant that if the knife of the surgeon moved on a stylus, wherever he is sitting, the knife on the patient was not moving in a distant land. Whereas now with 5G technologies with latency, which is less than 2 milliseconds, when the speeds are at least 4 times to 10 times faster than 4G, you find that the knife moves simultaneously. So there's no lag at all between the movement of stylus by the doctor versus the knife on the patient. So there are newer applications that are coming in every area, whether it's because of robotics or blockchain. Blockchain can be used, just people thought it was financial applications. Now you use it even for education applications. We talked at length about 3D printing. Drones are used for security surveillance. Another very exciting application that I talk about is that they're used in agriculture at this point of time. So what are we seeing as a result of this is that with all these technologies which are coming out, the newer technologies, that you require to have cross-functional ability. You need to have ability to understand different technologies. I belong to a generation, and I'm sure several people would think that way, is mechanical engineering was all about mechanical engineering only. But today you look at devices, they're just not one. There are many of those technologies which go into each other. Take this example of an electric car, for instance, or autonomous car. You look at the LiDAR unit at the top, there's also a additional LiDAR units at the front. These are the ones which determine they're constantly spinning, they determine what's the object that's close to them. Or you have a number of radar sensors at this point of time. I've not driven an autonomous car, but I've driven some of the autonomous features on a car. And what we now see is that there is a lane control. I just put the switch on a lane, it sticks to that lane. It doesn't move anywhere out. And then I put on an obstacle control, which means if there's an obstacle which is ahead of them, it slows down. doesn't go. So therefore, a number of accidents will come down. Or a third one that we are also seeing at this point of time is cruise control. Cruise control in the past was you can put it at 60 miles per hour, but then if something is coming, you touch your brake pedal, it will disengage itself. It's not true any longer. Obstacles are coming, it automatically disengages itself. Obstacle moves out of the way, it goes back to its 60 miles cruise control. So therefore, you look at this car now. At one point of time, I believe there used to be as many as 155 moving parts in a car. Now it's down to 5 to 7 of them. That's what is all left behind. Steering is just, for your psychological satisfaction. You don't need a steering wheel at all. The car of the future will probably allow people to sit together. They'll all be connected together. They'll all be going together. You just need to tell them where to go, and thereafter you can take your mind off from where you're getting to. Point here is that technologies are moving in such a direction that it is not that you specialize yourself in one area, but you need to have multiple discipline specialization for yourself. And the other thing that I like to highlight before I move out of technology at this point of time is that this technology in the past was primarily to do information processing for us. But technology of today is in every potential industry. Think about any industry you can imagine, whether it is mobility, BFSI, education, agriculture, retail, manufacturing, healthcare, any one of them. In all of them, you find one thing in common, that there's a technology play associated with it. Look at this example of precision agriculture. In agriculture, nobody thought, I did not think that you could use technology. In the recent past, this is about 2-year-old, it's right now running, is that one of the fertilizer companies they also get involved in pesticides. They came to us and asked this question, saying that, can you start telling us how much a pest has to be used using technology? So the immediate reaction was, let's use drones. So we put a drone up there, put the right cameras on top of it, so that the drones would fly, identify what the pest was. Thereafter, the whole concept was, there's one more drone which will fly behind it for that drone to carry the pesticide and spray exactly in that 1 square feet area. Trust me, I'll be transparent to you guys, that I was surprised myself that when we flew the drones, we could get 64 characteristics of the field, starting from what is the soil, what is the soil efficiency or deficiency for that matter, what is the water condition, what is the crop condition, when will it come for harvesting, what will be the quantum of harvesting. These parameters could come by. So as a result of that, today, you can just fly the drone. Not only pesticide is still an application. We are finding pest actually, look at the disruption the technology will create, is that today we believe the amount of pesticide usage can come down by 60% compared to what is being done today. You might ask me, Mr. Reddy, where is that 60% pest going today? You and I are consuming it. But because, a poor farmer, he sees a pest in one corner of the field, the immediate reaction from him is that he takes the spray, sprays all around the field. Whereas pest is not there all around the field. It is confined to an area of 1 square feet by 1 square feet, or you can take tiles of 1 square feet in different parts and just go and spray there and kill the pests. So therefore, I think there are enormous number of applications we're seeing. So one big lesson for all of you is technology is a key driver. Learn more and more technology. The second message I have for you is, coupled with technology, is the second part is the professional and soft skills. We live in a completely different world. It is no more of rote learning that will happen. It is not that you by heart something and then you start answering questions to that. You have to assimilate. It has to not become learning. It has to become knowledge. And that will only make you successful, because that is what I think the future is. You have to start assimilating, I think, some of the topics for your seminar next few days is on design thinking. Design thinking is all about your ability to understand what are the challenges that user is facing. So you develop an empathy to step into the shoes of the user, try to understand the problem, find a solution to the problem by the iterative process, because a solution cannot be found in one shot. You through an iterative process, you find a solution. And that is how you have to you will start only when you have a complete command or when you have knowledge. You just not have learned a lesson. You did not by heart a lesson, but you assimilated the knowledge. That's what I think will be critical for future, which I will call it as a professional skill. And so also, if you see the type of interaction all of us are having is that it's not physical any longer. So therefore, it becomes extremely important for us to start developing our ability to communicate well with each other. Communication skills becomes very important. And in this world that we live, one thing has become constant. And what is that? Change. It is not, I called out some technologies in the past, but these are the technologies which I did, this was done, say 2 years back, and an assignment that was done by BCG for us. I used to be the chairman of NASCOM those days, and they called out these technologies. And we're running a platform called Future Skills Platform for these technologies. But I can tell you that 2 years from now, not necessarily these will be the future technologies. Because change is constant, change will continuously happen to us. So our ability to change is going to be very important. Our ability to be nimble-footed. You can't have that carry-on baggage which says, I am a mechanical engineer, I have learned, I've got my degree, therefore I know everything about mechanical engineering. No, the world has changed. The water is flowing under your feet. And if you don't recognize that, then you have a challenge. So also is the ability to have adaptability to work with people. And what we will also find is that value systems also have to improve. That's when you will get recognition and rewards, and you will certainly grow in your careers. Because what happens today is our ability to supervise will come down. Take the example of work from home. You are physically there in the office. People came, I checked in at 9 o'clock, sir. I checked out at 5:30 in the evening. I certainly was at 8.5 hours. I took only a half an hour break. I only went twice for tea. All that is fine. But that won't work when you're working from home. I don't keep track of, I run a company which has got about 15,000 people who work for us. There's no way humanly it's possible for anybody to keep track of anybody else. So therefore, you need to have that value system in you, which says, I got paid, so I have that responsibility. I have that accountability. I have to make sure that for what I get rewarded, I also have to create value for the people. So value systems become important. So therefore, the second part is, please make sure that in campus, you get knowledge, but you also need to develop these professional skills if you want to be really successful in the corporate world. Let me move on to my third thing that I wanted to talk to you about. The new world that was there, the future of learning is going to be completely different. People are talking about, online education will happen. No, it won't. Online education will not happen completely. I can assure you that. I was in a conversation with Professor Agarwal, Anant Agarwal. He is the founder and CEO of edX. I'm running on the big show on behalf of CII. It's called the Digital Education Summit. It's running for 10 days. In spite of that, I took time and came to speak to all of you. And I had a fireside chat. It was a one-to-one between Anant Agarwal and me, Anant and me. And Anant's company, which is edX, is actually a joint venture between MIT and Stanford. And they're the largest platform in the world at this point of time. But Anant and I finally agreed to say that pure MOOCs type of environment will not survive. You need to get the touch and feel. So it has to be a hybrid model which will survive in the world. And a hybrid model that too constantly saying, no, we'll do online education. Online education requires bandwidth. Online education requires security. They require physical infrastructure. They require social infrastructure. All that cannot happen. So therefore, you also need to have online, offline, synchronous, asynchronous. For some of the challenges that we are having, we are looking at experimentation right now on TV, radio, WhatsApp, text. Actually, you can run a radio class and then supplement that with text questioning. So there are different ways in which you have to learn. I'm trying to get this back to you. And then what we'll also see is that with the AI that's coming in, one of the experiences that I have with the platform that I run called the Future Skills Platform, we have individual learning paths. That is, the pace at which you learn is different from the pace at which I can learn. So therefore, the speed at which content has to come to me is different from the content you get. So that can be done now on learning platforms using AI tools. You'll also start looking for, as you probably start moving forward, you'll start have to learn new things. So therefore, it's not anymore 4-year degree programs. You'll require micro degrees. And learning has to be lifelong. I know I'm a little running out of time, but let me finish off by my last 2 slides. And I think Jayesh, I just heard him for a few, Mr. JAYESH RANJAN, good friend of mine. I heard him the last part of it. He also talked about entrepreneurship. Before we get to entrepreneurship, innovation has to happen. Innovation has to become a culture. Design thinking is one way of looking at innovation, one methodology by which people say you can innovate. I keep saying the 5-degree mantra that I have, our ability to challenge the status quo, our ability to take risks, our openness to ideas, our patience, and finally, the trust with others will lead us into innovation. Once we have innovation, the current requirement that we have is more amount of entrepreneurship. Jayesh talked about it. Somebody else also talked about it. I think Mr. R.K. Vyas talked about it. The 59 apps that have been blocked, they were not banned, they were blocked yesterday by Government of India. 5 of those 59 apps have more than 100 million users. That gives you an enormous amount of opportunity to become an entrepreneur. And this is the cycle. The cycle is you explore a problem. That's all the design thinking cycle that we could get into. And once you find a solution, you start building the right thing, the right solution. You can't build it once. It goes through a vicious circle. Once you know the product is built, then you do to scale, build the right thing at scale. So that is all about entrepreneurship. Finally, let me conclude by saying in the times that we live, I started off with what I said was realism. The realistic situation is it is grave, but technology is changing. Technology is providing us an enormous amount of challenges and also opportunities. People who will be in a position to master those technologies will take this opportunity to get to higher heights. So therefore, on one side, we have realism, which tells us, look, situation is bad, but steadfastly, we all have to believe in ourselves, have the optimism to say that we will all come out winners at the end of this crisis. Let me close by thanking all those frontline health workers who put their life in front of us. They are definitely putting their lives at risk. So thank you, thank them, thank all of them, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Lots of information and fantastic slides that you have made for the students. Really, really thankful for that, about the skills and the opportunities. Would you have few minutes to take few questions? So I have selected few questions.
Sure, please. 3:25, I'm going to step off.
Okay, all right. So how can entrepreneurs generate ideas during this particular time of pandemic is one question, sir.
Sure. You want me to answer one question, or you'll give me a few questions and answer them together?
Okay, and the next one is, how much of interdisciplinary knowledge is needed for students? For a mechanical student has asked this. And next, large collection of data is needed, but as students, we have challenges to acquire data, to do anything related to data. So how do you suggest students have to go about it? Next question is, does pandemic require to rethink and change our careers?
Okay. Let me stop here because I'll lose thread. I'll answer these and then give you a chance to ask the next set of questions. So how do you generate ideas? You have to go and challenge the status quo. Go back to my slide here, which is to do both with design thinking as well as innovation. How does innovation come? So you start saying, look, why do you require to use this material for this particular product? If you say, no, this is what my grandfather was using, and I will continue to use the same material, or I was taught in the class to use this material. No, challenge the status quo. That's when the new ideas come. Elon Musk started saying, look, why this automobile, since the next question is also mechanical engineering, is every automobile had a power plant. That's exactly the engine. And every automobile produced its own environmental challenges in terms of pollution. So Elon Musk said, why have this power plants in each individual of these things? I will create a power plant somewhere else. That's basically a huge power plant. And then he said, I will transmit the energy thereafter, clean energy, that's battery. He brought electrical power, put it in the car. That is how electrical vehicle got evolved. That is how he got this idea from. If you say, no, 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 cars all have to have engines with them, don't question that at all, then you would not get ideas. So the fundamental thing that I keep talking about is challenge the status quo. Think about, a man who is trying to plow his cart, plow the field using his oxen. Can you help him? Put yourself into his position. What are the pain points he has? Can I address those pain points using technology? That is how ideas get generated. Now, interdisciplinary, I gave you an example. It can't be anything better than that. The electric car. What does the electric car have at this point of time? It has mechanical engineering. It still has chassis. You can't do that. It has wheels. It has the cover, the shelter for all of us to sit down safely. But equally important is the fact that it has enormous amount of electrical stuff. There are 4 motors which are running around. There is electronics associated with it. All this through signals. Then you have a lot of image processing that happens because it takes pictures about what is there as in front, in the side, and so on and so forth. So I can't say interdisciplinary has got 10% of this plus 5% of this plus 25% of that is not the answer. The answer is depends upon what you want to do. The more you learn about a lot of things, more amount of knowledge you get. So the thing that I keep saying is you should have enormous amount of thirst for knowledge. Knowledge is something which you should possess, and it's not expensive. You can learn as good as I do. I'm 69 years old. Even today, without reading a book, I don't go to sleep. For all you know, today might be the last day for me. That doesn't mean that I should not possess knowledge. So youngsters like you, my humble appeal to you, learn as much as you can. It is not by hearting. Apply yourself to technology that comes to you. Data requirements are there, but how do you get data? Yes, it is a challenge at this point of time, but my recommendation is please start with smaller amount of data. You can get small data without a problem. Once you have the application, go to the people who have the data. They'll be very happy to give the data to you. And lastly, the other one is, because of pandemic, do I change my career? Certainly not. You should do what you like to do. I keep saying what I did in my life is what I had passion about. I started questioning in my life what my purpose of life was. When I knew what my purpose was, I decided that will be the career. My purpose was, I said, look, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I want to create value. I want to create jobs. That's the purpose of your life. So therefore, as briefly as I can, there's a poem called The Dash. And the poem is all about, it says, what happens to people after they disappear from this world? They have a tombstone that's there, and the tombstone has 2 dates on it. The date on which you appeared, the date on which you disappeared, and then there's a dash in between. So actually, you don't have a control when you come into this world. When you disappear from this world too, you don't have a control. What you have a control is on the dash. What can you contribute in your lifetime? So therefore, pandemics do not change our lives. We will find ways in which we can conquer the pandemic. We will co-live with the pandemic. But I think what we will not change is what our passion and purpose of life is. Yep. A second round of questions.
Last 3 questions, sir. Work from home, does it affect productivity? And second is, how important is critical thinking? Is it necessary, and how do you develop that? And when we start up an organization, we'll usually have lack of funds. How do we address the problem?
Okay. Work from home, productivity, certainly there are challenges. It's a fairly involved topic. We've done fairly large amount of work on work from home syndrome. We all believe at this point of time that work from home, 100% of the employees, 100% of the time won't work. The biggest challenge we have with work from home at this point of time, in addition to productivity is a offshoot of it, is culture building. Where do you have what a company is known for its culture? What is the brand of a company? What do they think about that company when nobody is there in the room? That's what they think about it. So therefore, work from home will happen. It will not happen 100% of the time. Productivity is an issue because I think you look at it, some of the sociological issues that we also have. If there was a small little problem in the office, what you did was you immediately stood up and you looked around. And even before you looked and spotted out somebody, 3 other people looked at you too. And then you said, I have a problem. They solved the problem for you. Now think about the same situation at home. You're writing a software code, you have a problem. So if you want to now ask somebody, you pick up a phone, call the guy, that guy may be available, may not be available, may have the answer, may not have the answer. So productivity will definitely be far different in the current situation. So we are trying to draw new processes, new procedures to make sure that the productivity will still be there. To give you a flavor, right now with the 15,000 employees we have in the company, 95% of our employees are working from home and they produce about 95% productivity, I believe. That's the number that I have with me. Critical thinking, how do you do it? I think I told enough of it. Start challenging the status quo. Why is life this way? Ask this question all the time. Everything that's there, if you and you know, you guys are so blessed at this point of time. You don't need to go and ask somebody the answer either. There's always the computer. There's Wikipedia at this point of time. Anytime, anywhere, you can learn. So therefore, I think the key to it in terms of critical thinking is ability to challenge the status quo, ability to take risks, having an open mind, working as a team. These are the ones which will improve your critical thinking. Your lack of funds, only thing I will tell you not to do is don't print money. But if you have a good idea, people will come and give you money.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So yeah, sir, I attended one of your previous sessions, and I have picked a line from that saying, what did the horseman do when car was invented? So most of my campaigns and most of my speeches start with that line, actually. So I'm sure we all learn a lot every time. It's a big fangirl of you. So we'll take a lot of things from you today. And thank you so much for spending your time. You said like this time is very private and essential for you for various things, but thank you so much for spending your time for the...
I enjoyed talking to youngsters. If my young friends got some messages from me, I am a delighted guy. I'll go to sleep very happily tonight. So I'll wish all good luck to my friends, to Blackbuck as an organization. You're doing your bit. Wish you all the best and good luck to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, students. I hope it has, sir has added really great value to all the knowledge that he has brought in. And I appreciate how much time he has spent in making a presentation for us. He being the founder and executive chairman of such a giant organization, how much time he has taken especially for the skills and the sectors that we have to concentrate in. Really thankful for him. I will definitely, this video will be available for you after this also, so that you can come back anytime and check his presentation. Somebody has asked if the presentation will be available to you. You can come back some point of the time later to check, re-look into what he has been presenting. And would like to now please request Mr. A.K. Nayak, he immediate past president and chairman of Academic and Awards Committee, Computer Society of India. He is the director of Indian Institute of Business Management, Padma, and is having more than 35 years of experience in teaching training in the field of computer science, information technology, and management. Professor Nayak is associated with academic programs of more than 40 universities and is represented as the expert member in several bodies of government of India and state governments. So request Mr. Nayak to give few words for around, so 5 minutes he will be motivating us about the emerging technologies and how CSI can help us all students and organizations like us to take emerging technologies forward.
Anuradha, he is having another program from 3:50. So he left us now, and he will join. He will join us in the last day course.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay. So, yeah. So in that case, then we will move on to the next speaker. So the next speaker is Annie Mathew. She is Senior Director, Microsoft APAC, and she is speaking. She has joined us from Malaysia. Annie, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for waiting. It has been running a little bit late because extension of some speeches. We have been running a little. Thank you so much, and thanks for waiting patiently. Can you take the control of the screen, and you can share your screen from there?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Geeta? Hello. Hello.
Annie, I'm able to see you and also the screen. We are able to listen properly. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So I just heard the last bit of the last session, and Geetam was talking about horses and cars. So probably I'll start my story from there. A quick introduction before I jump into this, because you need to know my context before you can make sense of everything I say. So I'm a director with Microsoft, and my role is to encourage developers across to adopt new technology, and that includes students like you and professional developers. So it's a pleasure to be here today and talk to you about AI. Some of the things I really care about are, of course, empowering women, startups, and all of you people with technology. Healthcare is an area of great interest to me. So as we go through this, you'll probably hear my call to all women developers out there as well, the women students, to come join in bigger droves in being creators with technology. Okay, so now cutting to this scene. This is 1905, and what you see here is actually the Flatiron Building on Broadway in New York. What do you see there? It's all horses, horse carriages. That was the time when horses were powering the economy. Cut to about 2 decades later. What do you see on the screen now? That same building is there, but what you see is the horses have all disappeared. It's all automobiles. You can see a truck carrying many automobiles across, people walking. But what happened to all the horses? And what about actually there were 100,000 horses in New York at that point of time, which was powering all the transportation and economy and all of that. And imagine the people and the families who built their lives and livelihood around those horses. What happened to all of them? That decade or two was a time a little bit similar to what we are going through now, when we are a little bit nervous about the changes that are coming, that is already happening, and thinking about what next, right? Should I learn something new? Should I be an entrepreneur? Should I be continuing with the way I am, etc., etc.? But what unfolded in those 20 years was a whole new economy emerged. which was powered by, say, the assembly lines were discovered at that point of time. Steam engine had already come in, a lot of automation, factories, typewriters, which was automating how people were even taking notes and stuff. So a lot of changes which were for the good. And the economy flourished. And you can see where US went in the next few decades from there. A lot of goodness happened. And that's kind of the place where we are now. You can see intelligent, personalized systems all around us. We are going to spend the next 20 minutes talking about AI. And AI is everywhere. As you can see, it is in the Netflix recommendation that you see. It's in Google Maps navigation or Waze navigation. When you're using your inbox and it's separating focused from others, it's actually AI at the back end. So invisible to us, AI is everywhere. And that is one of the trademarks of when technology becomes mainstream. It becomes invisible. It's gone beneath the surface. Today, when we look outside, we don't see a lot of the power engines and power and electricity and stuff, right? It's powering everything, but you don't see it like that. So technology, when it goes mainstream, actually becomes invisible. So why now? Why is this the time for AI? A lot is about how this whole ecosystem is connected. It's about the cloud compute power that is available now. It's about the fact that we have now made intelligent edge devices. These are your phones, your refrigerator, your door, your cars, you name it. Anything can actually now be more intelligent. So between the intelligent cloud and the intelligent edge, there's a ton of data that is streaming. About the estimation was about 50 billion devices, connected devices by 2030. But I would make a guess that after these last few months, we are kind of on steroids on digital transformation, right? Everything has gone digital. Almost 2 years worth of digital transformation has happened just in 2 months. So imagine the amount of data that is going to actually drive. About one second, let me just. About 175 zillion zettabytes of data is going to be generated by 2025, and just double it, if you will, for the next few years. What does that mean? When Microsoft looks at it, we see that common areas of digital transformation kind of pivot around these 4 areas. Either you are engaging customers using intelligence or optimizing your operations, or you're empowering people with it, or transforming products. And most essential is the digital feedback loop, which is about all these things talking to each other and making this digital transformation possible. And data and AI is at the core of it. There are other technologies like IoT and quantum and things like that. But today is the age of data and AI, which has actually become mainstream. A good example is Tesla. Tesla does kind of bake software into all their products. And if you look at this car that they have, this actually happened that sometimes back, they had a number of consumer reports which were indicating braking issues, particularly with their Model 3. So they looked at vehicle telemetry, and that showed the brake performance across fleets. Then they engaged with customers, took the social media feedback, direct feedback, focus groups, all of that, and figured that, yes, they could figure out what exactly was the problem. And they identified what is the fix to improve the stopping distance. But it was braking too close, and they had to increase the stopping distance when it was braked. So in a matter of minutes, they could actually do an over-the-air update. Brilliant, isn't it? When legacy auto manufacturing companies, even the German auto manufacturing companies, did not take Tesla for a big challenger in the beginning. But there you go. This kind of changed the whole landscape of how you do automotive. So when you talk about automotive engineers, it is also automotive engineers who know software, and pure automotive engineers. Now, if you look at the composition of software developers inside Tesla, there is about 6.6% of their employees are IT people. Whereas in a traditional auto manufacturing company, it's about 1%. So look where the difference lies. Now, if you look at from Microsoft perspective, we have about 20,000 plus paying Azure AI customers just in the last month. And over 85% of Fortune 100 have used Azure AI in the last year. And I'm telling you this to show that from one customer like Tesla who's using AI to transform, the multitude of customers are now picking it up, which means that if you're not using AI or any of the new technologies, then companies are going to fall behind, which means they need to hire software developers or digitally savvy people to make sure they're staying ahead of the game. This is as latest as of today. Microsoft has done a considerable amount of data science work, linking LinkedIn data, and India is estimated to have a capacity of 80 million new technology jobs. Think about it. It's a great time to be graduating from engineering or related fields, right? And just at data analysis, machine learning, and AI, there's over 5 million jobs available. And this light blue is a current workers, and there's hardly anything there. So millions of jobs out there. Software development, again, tens of millions of jobs out there. So you're poised at a point in time where technology is being adopted faster by everyone. Because of this 3 months, everybody's had to use technology, but also at a time when technology is coming of age. And it all starts with breakthrough research. I'll share with you a little bit about Microsoft's research. So these are our research centers across the world, and you have one in India as well, which is great. Another place for you to think about working. Now, if you look at some of the advancements that have caused this current surge, it is about technology reaching human parity. And when you say it's reaching human parity, for example, speech recognition reached human parity, which means that if you play an audio that is from a robot versus somebody human kind of recorded it, and you use the same kind of a tone, we as a consumer wouldn't be able to make out the difference between the two. And that is when you say something has reached human parity. So not only speech recognition, machine translation, conversational Q&A, object detection, all of this has reached human parity. And that means technology is of age. It can be used vastly. And Microsoft tests this at scale in our own solutions. For example, Xbox. 80 million personalized experiences are delivered daily. And I tell you about personalization. The PowerPoint that you make, you see a little designer that's allowing you to design your slides very easily at the click of a button, multiple designs, and you just choose one. How's that happening? That's AI at the back end. A little bit more about Microsoft investments. You probably heard about the supercomputer that became one of the world's most powerful supercomputer, according to a publication. Well, that is 285,000 CPU cores and 10K GPUs. Imagine what you could do with it. Microsoft is also investing $5 billion in IoT over the next 4 years. Another important initiative is OpenAI. As AI becomes more and more prevalent, it also brings in a certain amount of responsibility for you as a developer and for Microsoft as a platform provider. Everyone has a responsibility to make sure that the AGI or the general intelligence is actually beneficial to human beings. So this is super important that a lot of advancements are happening in AI. Now, AI really started in 1956. It is not a new technology. It just took such a long time to come up to par with human parity and have that compute power and all of these advanced algorithms that are now available. This is the Microsoft AI platform. A little bit about this. You have Azure AI services. This is a pre-built AI that's cognitive services. Now, you may not have the time to go and custom build an AI or an algorithm. So there's a lot of services that are available where you can quickly use a pre-built AI. So you kind of monitor the Twitter feeds and you want to say what's the sentiment on your brand or on some track of topic that you put in. You can easily do that today without knowing too much about ML. Conversational AI, this is a bot service. And of course, custom AI, this is the hardcore Azure machine learning. We have the infrastructure, and if you are an infrastructure engineer, you'll care about this. So all about data and compute. And a whole lot of tools, and this is super important. Visual Studio, Azure ML Studio, ML Workbench, these are the things, including GitHub, actually, that make you more productive. So as technology is advancing at a fast pace, so is the requirement from your product or your organization or just a customer, right? And so you need to be more productive and more effective, which means we need to bring you the most intelligent tools that you can build on. And then, of course, there are deep learning frameworks. And Azure works with all of this, like TensorFlow and Caffe and all of that. I hope some of you would have learned this or at least tried it in your college. So Azure Machine Learning is actually easy. It's there for all skill levels. So do go and try it out. ML Ops is an important field that's developing. You must have heard of Devops. Devops is kind of a cultural transformation within the technology organization. So if you are a student and graduating, and I think I heard Mohan Reddy earlier talk about culture, collaboration, and things like that. Well, even when you are an AI and machine learning engineer, you still need to have that culture on top of your mind. And that's where DevOps and MLOps particularly to help build the team together and make you work faster. Open and interoperable, talk to you about it. And of course, security makes it trusted. We have over 1 million experiments per month happening on it. So in the AI space, especially in the machine learning space, people like to use, developers these days like to use whatever frameworks they want to use. And the point is about allowing and helping them use whatever they want and be more productive on Azure. That's where Microsoft is focused. It's no longer about you being a .NET developer or a C# developer or anything. You can be using anything you want and still work on Azure. So here you're seeing Keras and requiring ML.NET or TensorFlow, and they're all using different frameworks, either maybe PyTorch or Caffe or Cognitive Toolkit. But that is one part of it. When you have to deploy, again, it can be on the cloud, it can be on your PC, it can be anywhere. And imagine the number of permutation combination that you will have to manage as an AI engineer if you're going to develop on different frameworks and then deploy it on different places. And also hardware accelerated by different, so GPU accelerated, FGPA accelerated, etc., etc. So this can very soon become very complex. And which is why Microsoft has now come out with Onyx. Onyx and this Onyx Runtime, what this does is it takes all these machine learning models and creates a uniform model. So all the people who are kind of innovating on the other end with the hardware and hardware accelerated deployments, they can actually focus more on the hardware and less on this. It also allows one person who's trying to develop one application on TensorFlow, another one he wants to use Keras, or she wants to use ML.NET. It's all possible with Onyx. The interesting thing is Onyx is a community project. So you as a student today need to know about these things. So get involved, discuss, contribute. It's on GitHub, it's on Gitter. The links are here. You can just Google as well and find out. Please do find these and start working on these. So the way people learn today is different. People learn in communities, people learn online. It's a lot of self-taught stuff. And that's where, and GitHub is a place where you collaborate. So make note of this, and you do not need a resume on a white sheet of paper. You need a resume on GitHub. So make sure that you are joining GitHub, making sure you're contributing to some open source projects, learning in communities, and then of course, go to community meetups and learn more. Well, on machine learnings particularly, there's model reproducibility, model validation, which is what the data scientist is actually very focused on. And the IT professional is focused on the continuous integration, continuous development of this. So this field is, again, something very, very key for you. If you get a chance to go dive deep into it and learn, I would suggest that you should. Just a quick look at some machine learning scenarios. I thought you might be interested in knowing this. Some of the key scenarios that we are seeing is predictive maintenance, inventory management, fraud detection, intelligent recommendation. Who doesn't want those intelligent recommendations if it gets your consumer to use another movie you want them to watch, etc. Demand forecasting, sales forecasting. These are all highly popular and very much used these days. I'll take you to one scenario of predictive maintenance. Schneider Electric powers a lot of customers who are into oil and gas. So the device at the well site, right? So there's a lot of data that needs to flow from the well site. So the IoT hub ingests all this data. It goes into the data lake storage. So when you start with your AI piece, you actually have all this data coming through the sensors to the data lake storage. Some of it is processed and goes to the application. The first thing you would do is pull that data and create a model. So there's auto ML, there is custom machine learning, whatever it is, but the first step would be to build and train the model, and it does automatically if you're using auto ML. The next step actually is to package and deploy it, because you want to make some of the actions right at the well site, right? So you deploy the machine learning model right into the device at the well site. And you're continuously getting telemetry data. Think of Tesla, that's what Tesla was doing as well. Their cars were constantly sending back telemetry data. So when customer says there is a problem, they can immediately triage it. Similarly, Schneider Electric wants to make sure that before a problem happens, they want to make sure the correction is done. Otherwise, imagine a well site and there is a offshore rig and there is a major problem. It can be stuck and the business can be blocked for many, many days or even months. So that's a whole problem to create some predictive maintenance. So it monitors, and at the third step, what it does is that the thing about machine learning models is that it needs to be retrained every now and then. Maybe the data is different, maybe the data is bad, maybe the model itself is not insufficient, it's not giving the performance you need. So you monitor it continuously and do auto retraining. These are all things that are possible with technologies today. So why wouldn't you use that technology instead of doing things manually? So that's the thing about AI. It is not only in applications we build, it is in the tools we are using. It is everywhere. Now I'll jump to AI apps and agents. I think most of you know about bots. And Azure Bot Service does about 1 billion messages a month. There is a free one. It's very easy to use. Go check it out. And there's also Azure Cognitive Services. This powers all the human intelligence. So the whole thing about the future of technology is in that human-computer interactions, right? So at the crux of it, AI is assisting humans or making or augmenting human performance. It is not replacing human. It can replace robotic or a manual, non-cognitive jobs largely, but when it comes to high cognitive jobs, it kind of assists humans. So it's important to know these cognitive services, play around with it. And the advances we have done is recently we introduced decision as an additional segment other than language, vision, and speech. So it's a personalizer. Now, this is probably the only personalizer model that's available for developers to use at large. So check it out. And this means that you can use an API and very simply use your application, use the API in your application, and make sure that you're giving personalized recommendations to your consumers. just an API away. So this is extending this sort of very valuable machine learning capabilities to, or even cognitive capabilities, right to you as a developer. In the language side, sentiment analysis, and it's very interesting that there's now about 100 plus new entity types and maybe over 50 languages in which you can do language translation. So this is a natural language processing area. In vision, there's custom vision. And one example of this is a form recognizer. So it's very easy now. It used to be a laborious task and developers would spend months to create a form recognizer. What is a form recognizer? If you have college admission forms, for example, and the admission department has to go through it one by one, today you can actually use a form recognizer API and train it very easily to whatever is your college's particular terminology and use object cognition, OCR, vision analysis, and then grab this text on your form and digitalize it. So these things have become way, way, way simpler. Same thing with speech. We spoke about speech parity, right? So this is a custom speech with O365 data is now available. Custom neural voice capability. This is about using neural networks in voice to text. So a lot of advancements in this area, I should say. Now, the mission we live at Microsoft, and especially people like me who are facing you as developers, our job is to empower you to achieve more, every person to achieve more, in fact. So this is a Microsoft platform, APIs which make your job easier, GitHub for collaboration, Visual Studio Code actually is one of the most popular tools that developers use. We now have code spaces on GitHub, which makes collaboration between teams, especially in this time of work from home. How do you work as a team? So I must tell you that, interestingly, in Philippines, one of the developer communities had about 500 plus developers collaborate together on GitHub and create 4 applications that have gone live, basically for COVID response. So how does this happen? So this is all where action is really happening, the communities. So go to meetup.com, find AI communities near you, or whatever technology, or even if you're a jogging enthusiast, you can find jogging communities there. So go find those communities and meet with people to understand what's the latest that is happening in your area of field. And then join hackathons and things like that to actually hone your skills. So those are the new ways of learning and developing. This here is something that we just published today morning that Microsoft has announced, helping 25 million people worldwide to acquire new digital skills. And that includes AI. And how we're going to do it is through LinkedIn and as well as Learn. So Learn is the modular learning platform on Microsoft, where you can go in and pick a role you want to be. Do you want to be a developer? You want to be an AI engineer? Or you want to be a data scientist or a data engineer? You pick what you want and find the path, learn, and then you can certify. So this year, when we say this 25 million people acquiring new digital skills, we have kind of cut the cost of certification by maybe 85%. So that's the opportunity. We know that these are the digital job capacity between 2020 and 2025, 149 million new jobs by 2025. So then we're pointing you to where to go and learn. So either use Learn, and for all the soft skills and other stuff, you can go to LinkedIn and use LinkedIn Learn. All this is being made available, but look at the opportunity sitting in front of you and look beyond India, because in today's world, everybody's gotten comfortable with working from home. What you will see now is an explosion of jobs that are available worldwide that you can do sitting at home. No better time to be a student graduating out. So scan this and join the Microsoft community. You will get regular updates of what's happening, what's latest, what are the offers, what technology is picking up, and also get to know from our folks on how to go deeper into particular technology. So I'll end with this, that this is a time of huge opportunity, but I want to tell you that's a time of huge responsibility as well, especially with AI. AI can be used any which way depending on how you use it, much like the nuclear power. So it's in all our hands, and make sure that we are creating responsible AI. And with that, I'll probably open up for some questions.
Thank you so much, Annie. So many frameworks, tools, and technologies from Microsoft for the students to start off with. I didn't have this question from the students, but wanted to know that any of these tools will have student editions and will come at special price?
Yes. So there is a $200 available free of cost for students. You can go online now and kind of sign up and get access to that. Apart from that, when we are talking about Learn and LinkedIn Learn, it has all got sandboxes with Azure Credit available there. So you can learn and try without spending anything. Those are sandboxes for you. That means Azure Cloud Credit is available there for you to try and learn.
Okay, so this Azure Cloud will help students even to store a lot of their projects, and if they are working on, say, data science project or AI project, will it help them store there for free?
So storing the projects and collaborating, you would be doing on GitHub.
On GitHub, okay, all right,
Yes.
fine. All right.
GitHub is where you store your code. You can open source it, join other open source projects. All of that is GitHub.
All right, okay.
And that's free. You can just join there, and up to 5. I think for 5 team members, the whole thing is free. So go ahead and.
There's a question from Vaishnavi, and what she is asking is, in the field of artificial intelligence, is there any scope for non-programmers to work? Can we contribute there?
Absolutely. Okay, so I didn't spend much time on that, but let me take you back there. One of the things about this era is that you need as much non-programmers as programmers, because the need is for about 25 million. If you look at how many students are graduating, you wouldn't even touch a million, right? So you have 5 million job available in India itself, and you don't have a million developers in India today. So that gap is actually going to be filled by people who are non-coders, but tech savvy. And that's what you're seeing here on the right side: the Power Automate, Power Apps, and Power Virtual Agents. This is low code, no code application development meant for citizen developers. So today you can build an app in a day, just a day, if you use Power Apps and Power Automate. And maybe in 6 weeks, you can have it production ready. So yes, I think everyone needs to be digitally savvy, but for you engineering students or even arts and science students, you can easily use these Power Apps and create mobile apps, which do not require any coding. These are drag and drop UI.
Thank you so much, Annie. Thanks for spending time with the students. I'm sure they have learned a lot about Microsoft apps and technologies related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. If they have further any questions, we are just sourcing questions from YouTube. I will forward to you over mail and relay it back to them.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, students. So I have a little bit of information to share with you. There are some exciting offers for you also that I'll be sharing. So we are 3:59. We are at 4 p.m. and give me 5 to 10 more minutes. I will explain to you a few of the things that you can gain from Blackbuck. Lots of exciting offers that I will explain to you. So give me just 5 or 10 more minutes before you sign off or we sign off. before you fill your feedback form or register your attendance. Give me 5 or 10 more minutes. So I see very good participation, lot of comments from the students in the section. Hope you have enjoyed sessions from BBR Mohan Reddy sir and also Mathew from Microsoft. She has given a lot of tools and technologies, but how do we get there? These are all new technologies. So let me present to you a few things from our side. Share screen. Let me know if you're able to see. Okay. So you are all here. I'm sure you have seen our poster. You have seen that this is Blackbuck Engineers Center of Excellence. And if you see there is something called Streamline Your Career Path and Experience Excellence in Education. So that's what we stand for, Experience Excellence in Education. What we bring is very premier methodologies of teaching, very premier kind of industry experts to teach you. Because what happens is, in emerging technologies like artificial intelligence or cloud or whatever speakers have spoken today, all these new technologies have started off in industry and they are percolating back to academia, unlike the previous times when it has started in academia and then went into industry. But what has happened now is a lot of research, real research and industry research is happening in the industry. And so there's so many tools that makes all the students confusing on which path to go. Because artificial intelligence or any new technology for that matter deals with huge scale of use cases, which also requires number of tools. The tools itself span to hundreds. So which path to go is a huge question. So here is where we come into picture. Our centers of excellence in collaboration with CSI is in number of colleges already. We are in 20 colleges and most of you are through your own colleges where they have forwarded the messages related to this international conference. And let me explain to you what we actually do as part of international conference. So we aim, as I said, student excellence and streamlining your career path. So the most important career path for CSE and IT, is programming. And for others, there are some core engineering jobs that you aim for. But that has totally changed. Each student can design an exclusive career path for themselves. Even in my previous meeting, some people from this audience might have listened to me. Einstein has mentioned, if a fish is asked to climb a tree, can it climb? It will fail. So most of you are asked to program, and that's where dissatisfaction comes into picture. So if you are interested in design, if you are interested in understanding businesses, if you are interested in finding bugs as a tester, everybody has a career now. And that's what we help with. Our Center of Excellence helps you understand, counsel you what is the exact route or path you have to take for excellence. And our rest of your next three sessions will be also such sessions that will help you find out. Tomorrow is design thinking, and day after tomorrow on entrepreneurship, and after that careers. Okay, so you'll also find out what are the different careers that are available and which one. So BBR Mohan Reddy Garu has presented the skills and careers that are available, but we will boil down to one single. So as Annie has mentioned, we also work in a similar way. You can choose a role. This is the role I want to play. This is the role I want to become. I want to become a cybersecurity expert, or I want to become an AI engineer. I want to become a data scientist, or I want to become a functional analyst. I want to become a business analyst. I want to become a tester. You can choose a role and pursue our courses accordingly. So if you understand what our Center of Excellence does, if what you see on the screen on the left-hand side is an year package. If you register and enroll today, in next 1 year, This is what you will be getting. So I'll start from the second one. The second one is 5 hands-on connected workshops. What are connected workshops? As I said, everybody can choose a career. So on the right-hand side, you see every student gets a career. You don't need to worry if you are not good at programming. You don't need to worry if you are not interested in programming or artificial intelligence. So whatever we do, there's a list of technologies here, but non-technology also will be career-oriented. Okay, so 5 hands-on connected workshops. It means like in your college, if they give you certain workshops, they say there is a cyber security, there is ethical hacking, there is IoT workshop. So there will be different workshops conducted by different people, and there is no continuity. At the end of the year, tell me what workshop has given lifelong learning for you. For workshop, you can go and sit an interview and say, I'm an expert at it. So these connected workshops help you at the end of a year become an expert at something. You can go and sit an interview and say, I'm a good data scientist. I'm a good AI engineer. I'm a good business analyst. You can tell what you are good at the end of a year using these 5 hands-on workshops. And the workshop doesn't end at the workshop. You will have a platform, which I'll be explaining to you shortly, where you'll be a member of this platform. You can ask questions. You can connect to students with similar interest, who is also interested in, say, business analyst, who is also interested in a process analyst. So you will connect with similar groups. You can make your own group, have your own help from other colleges, make your own project, take help of students from other colleges who are interested in that project. So it doesn't end just with the workshop. There will be projects, there will be help for the faculty even after the workshop. It will be connected learning for you for rest of the year. How good it is. It is like education. The 5 hands-on connected workshop is complete education for you, because you will have continued learning in the social networking platform in a group for next 1 year. Okay, so at the end of the year, you can declare, I am good at so and so. Okay, and next comes 5 professional certifications. So what is the 5 professional certifications? So you, as I said, you will become expert at something. Say you become a data scientist expert in data science, and you become a data scientist, or an AI engineer, you become something. But you also need to know what's happening in the industry in other sectors, in other phases. So that's where the professional industry certified courses come. Blackbuck is industry recognized, and we have a tie-up with HR Forums, NASSCOM, Government of Telangana. So whatever course you do with us is industry recognized as a premier course. So professional industry certified courses. So what you see, say for example, you have chosen business analyst, but you can still do a small course on AI ML science. You can still do a course in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is really, really very essential for you, because as all the speakers have mentioned earlier, the skill sets required for an engineer or a programmer has changed. What you need is not just the programming skills, but you also have to take ownership of what you are doing, which is nothing but entrepreneurship. In corporate, they're calling it as intrapreneurship, intra in the company, intrapreneurship. So you can become expert at something using the 5 connected workshops which you see here, and you can also do professional industry certified courses. Okay. And next comes webinars and expert guest lectures. You have just seen what kind of speakers have come to speak. You have seen Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, you have seen Mohan Reddy Garu, you have seen Senior Director, Asia Pacific, Microsoft speak. So you've seen what kind of speakers come. So every week, Blackbuck arranges one webinar from the industry people. When you listen to such kind of people, it becomes so easy for you to talk in industry. It becomes so easy for you to talk about complete industry. You are aware of everything at a very high level. That means at a 35,000 feet. Not a single programmer, not just a line of code, but you can talk about industry. You can talk about various applications, various tools. You are completely aware. So you will get webinars every week from such kind of people, from CEOs, directors, project managers. You will get to speak from all these people. Okay. And then you'll have 50 mock interviews. What is mock interview? So there will be, in every college, there will be one program on preparing you for interviews. For that, they will explain to you, tell about yourself. How should you tell about yourself? Tell about strengths. Tell about your weaknesses. They will give you a template, and when you learn and sit in front of interviewers like me and speak like mug it up, nobody will get impressed. You have to strike a conversation with the human resource professional. You have to strike a conversation, speak to how you speak to an industry person like an industry person. That you can do through mock interviews. Every week, 2 senior HRs who are directors and above will take interviews directly in the process of preparing you for interviews. There will be a lot of other activities also as part of this. I'll also show you one social network platform which Blackbuck has. And as part of that, there will be a lot of HRs interacting with you even in the social networking platform. There will be mock interviews. You can follow them. You can speak to them. You can email to them. They will post a lot of jobs in the portal. So a lot of action will be happening as part of this. Okay. So as you see here on the left-hand side, 800 plus professionals. 800 plus professionals are part of this, and 75,000 plus students. As I said, you are mostly from our centers of excellence colleges, and other centers of excellence are around in 20 colleges. And so around 75,000 students are supposed to be on our platform. And look at the beauty of it. You will not be left behind in any case. Wherever you are, you will be at par with your peer group. Across the world, across the country, wherever you are, you will be at par in knowledge. Whatever a person in IIT has, whatever knowledge the person in IIT has, you will be having same thing. You will be having exposure to same kind of people, same kind of knowledge, same kind of trainers through this platform. Okay, so you will be at par with all the people, and competition, you will be, if somebody is not on this portal and you are in this portal, you will definitely have an edge over others. Okay, so that's what you get. Look at the beauty. How many you will be having? 5 hands-on connected workshops, which you will become expert at. 5 professional industry certified courses, 50 webinars, and 50 mock interviews. If you go through all these things, I'm guaranteeing you, nobody will say no to you in the interview. Okay, and moreover, our platform will also host a lot of HRs who will be posting jobs and internships for you. So hold on, guys. If you are still becoming impatient, I have some announcements to make at the end. I'll just take another 2 to 3 minutes and close it. Okay. So this is a student network platform. You can register now. Student network platform is for all the students. So there will be some restricted access to you. You will be having mostly view options to what is happening in the, so if possible, I will show you the network. Yeah, this is the social network you'll be having. Blackbuck.me is the site. If somebody can post from the Blackbucks group, what is the site? Blackbuck.me is the site. So here our members will be posting lots of useful information to you. If you can see here, see lots of information. So career related information, technology related information, and then interest related information. Say if you are interested in music, even that information can be posted here. Lot of network happening. So you can connect to other people. You can post your interest, make a group, and you can connect to others. So you can also see you can create your own profile. When the HRs join this, when the HRs are posting jobs in this, they will check your profile. So you can also make a profile, such beautiful profile. Say, for example, you have attended an international conference like this, that becomes part of your profile. You have completed a certification on entrepreneurship, that becomes part of a profile. And when HR checks that you have done so much of work related to your career, so much of interesting profile you have, say you know guitar, you know music, or you are very good at dance, so they will check your complete profile. So you can make your profile here, and there will be lots of courses which you can go through online. And as I said, it is not just go through like Coursera or something. People will be there for you to explain. People will be there for you to clear your doubts. Okay, and you can create your own groups. So somebody has created a time management group, and other students will become part of this group. So this is a network, a platform which is, for what they call is for the students and by the students. It is such a platform. So going back to the presentation. Okay, so this is the student network platform that most of the students are taking advantage of. If you are not in this platform, you will miss a lot from your peer group. So the peer group is posting a lot, becoming very active, showcasing their talents, showcasing their knowledge to HRs. There are around 800 HRs. Anytime anybody can pick a talented person from the group. Okay, so you can be part of this student network portal. Lot of technologies. So you are interested in artificial intelligence, you are interested in internet, you are interested in cloud computing. Some students are interested in ethical hacking, though it is not useful at all. So whatever you are interested in, all these technologies are available as a package. It is a huge. So as Annie has mentioned, that 129 million jobs are in pipeline in 2020. And the job can be in US, the job can be in Germany, but you can work from India. That's the greatest change that they are going to predict. And your salary will be in dollars. Okay, just make yourself suitable for that. They are making it suitable to work from India for a salary which is in US, but are you suitable for that? No, this is the platform that makes you suitable for salaries, very high salaries, say 7 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, but depends on you. How very well you can put little bit more effort and learn all these things. How much you can very well use the platform is what decides how much package you are going to get by the time you leave your college. Okay, so one of the most important thing as Center of Excellence we will be doing in your college is inter-college student fests, hackathons and ideathons. And if your idea is very good, we will also help develop that project or product and productize it and take it into market. Okay, so every year we will choose 2 ideas to take it into market. You can become an entrepreneur there itself. So as I said, entrepreneurship is very important going forward. As BVR Mohan Reddy sir has mentioned, you have to be in a position to give jobs, search jobs, okay, good jobs, okay, but in case you are ready to take that risk, you should be in a position to give the jobs. And this is a platform which will help you realize your dream in whatever way. Get a job, yes. Get a very good job, yes. Get a very high paying job, yes. Become an entrepreneur, yes. So this is a platform where you can fulfill all your dreams, okay. Here is one very important announcement that I was saying and I was asking you to stay back. This is, see, on July 10th, so most of the students are from Center of Excellence, or if you are not from Center of Excellence, it is even it is okay because it is online and you can become part of our Center of Excellence directly, if not from your college. So there is a course from July 10th, which is entrepreneurship, where the entrepreneurship course will be designed so very well that at the end of the course, you will be able to come up with a project plan for implementing your own startup. You will be able to work through the organization, how you will have to start, what will be the funding mechanisms, where you should market, how you have to build the project, how many people you should have. So entire end to plan you will be able to make through this entrepreneurship. What all you have to consider, what is the SWOT analysis, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what is the opportunity, what are the problems that you will. So you will be looking into so many aspects of it. There will be so many frameworks that they will be taught so that you will not fail as an entrepreneur. So that's what they will teach. So entrepreneurship course will be starting from July 10th. And there is another course on design thinking, which is very much required which is an added certification program for your resume. Design thinking is what every corporate company is asking for, design thinking. So July 25th, there is a design thinking course starting. Okay, so both of them will be hands-on. You will be able to implement it in your everyday life, or if you are going to start up, or if you are going to work somewhere, you will be able to implement the principles in both. Okay, so July 10th is entrepreneurship course, and July 25th is design thinking course that we are going to start off. You will get a sneak peek of it. Tomorrow, design thinking, you will be able to attend the first class kind of thing, and entrepreneurship, day after tomorrow, you will be able to attend the first class kind of thing, and you will know how the actual course is. So don't miss both the classes. Very important to attend both the days, tomorrow and day after. So this is all you will get. So July calendar, you will be having 2 courses. Similarly, you will be having August calendar. Similarly, you will be having September. So many courses will be starting as part of Center of Excellence. You can choose your path. If you have chosen business analyst path, and in August, you will be having finance and healthcare. If you are choosing artificial intelligence path, in July itself, you will be having statistics and machine learning. So much of activity and action that you don't want to miss. And I would like to ask you to think through how much will you pay for such a course. So if you such a platform, see what you get is 2 hackathons or student fest, 5 hands-on connected workshops, 5 professional industry certified courses, 50 webinars and expert guest lectures, 50 mock interviews, access to a social network platform for students, and 800 human resources offering you jobs and internships. This is what you will get as part of the platform. And this is for just 2,000 rupees per year. For the entire year, maybe you will get for 2,000 rupees 1 workshop, 1 entrepreneurship course. But this, you will get 2,000 rupees for an entire year, all these services, which is nothing but probably 2 movie tickets or something like that. That is what you get. So invest wisely. This is not expenditure. This is investment for entire life. So think about it. So what is the early bird price that I was mentioning before start of this program? Early bird offer is a student who, if he joins the program before 7th of this month, will also be getting a free internship which results in a project. Apart from all of these things, the student will also be getting free internship from one of these 800 organizations, real organizations, a free internship which will result in a project which you can submit as a project in your organization, in your college. So that's the early bird offer. Before 7th, if you join, the link will be posted and in YouTube, and we will discuss more about this in the coming 2 days. And as I said, don't miss tomorrow's session, which is on design thinking. Don't miss day after session, which is on entrepreneurship. They are really, really very well designed, and you will gain, if not for rest of the courses or rest of the classes, you will gain immensely from the next 2 classes. So please attend tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And as I said, if you join before 7th of July, to avail, 10th, there is an entrepreneurship course. So before 7th of July, if you join, you will also get a real internship program from one of these 800 organizations, which will result in a project. You anyway spend some 3,000 rupees for a project in a year, right? You spend it and you won't do, as I know, but this is real an internship project, which is so difficult to get for anyone. Okay, so just think about it. We will speak more tomorrow. Thank you very much for your patience and for listening to all of us. I'm sure you have enjoyed the sessions from Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, Mr. BBR Mohan Reddy, and thank you so much, CSI team, to be available to us on this program. How to join? Somebody are asking?
So many people.
Okay, so I was just told that how to join this program, how to register for this. The blackbucks.com is the site name, you all know you have registered through our poster, the blackbucks.com/register. That's it. Okay, the blackbucks.com/register. You can give your details here, and you know it's a payment gateway. You can just pay through this. Okay, you can also see what are the Center of Excellence benefits on the left side. On the right side, you can give your name, email, phone number, college name, and pay. Okay, so this is how the blackbucks.com/register. Okay, that's how you can pay. So hopefully we will again meet tomorrow. Don't miss, as I said, design thinking and entrepreneurship are fantastic courses, and the second half of tomorrow, strategy for self. Don't miss it, because it will help you for entire life. Strategy for your own growth, strategy for self. Don't miss it at all. Thank you so much and have a good evening. We'll meet you tomorrow. Bye.